Hey, welcome back, everybody. Well, back onto the Makita Dolmar 7900 build and kind of going through what we got before final assembly to look at it. So as we can kind of see here, see the two different, over here on the right here in the view, the one that's much thinner, more wide open, is considerably lighter. It's measuring at 14 grams in this aftermarket one because I'm using a Proline piston on it. I believe that's what I got, unless I'm just using the box. But that there is 19 grams. So gonna save some weight there on that one, right? So the stock piston was 76 grams, and I would shave 3 grams off of it because if we look at what a stock one is like, you can kind of see the differences in the holes. And this was weighing about the same, right? And this is the one that probably could get cleaned up and possibly used, but it's wore, especially when you mic it. So got that. Of course, I took down the sides a little bit so it gets full flow on the transfers. And then I did kind of shave open the side here because that's what it was. And then kind of just lightened up some casting flaws that were in here. So that's kind of a quick look at the piston there. Now the cylinder, what we got going, this is already cleaned up. This is washed. There's a couple, there's a small vertical line. You can kind of catch it a little bit in there. It is something, yes, it's above the exhaust. Oh, there it is. It's not that deep, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Everything else polished out. Got the intake, did not lower it since it was already sitting at 79. And just didn't do much widening, and partially because you can't widen the piston, widen it too much because of here. And so you can kind of see this faint line that I had marked is where it is. So really it was giving it the little lungs on either side, and go from there. And the same with there's my mark on the exhaust at bottom. And so you really can't widen the exhaust much. I did get about 2 degrees because it was measuring, and this is the stock one, 105 and 79 for the intake, and then transfers of 135. Now, most of the work that I've done so far is on the transfers. And you can kind of see that I did grind. It was able to get the top. You can kind of see that line in there. And I was able to move those up a little bit, a combination with the piston. And so now I am right at around the 125 mark is where it opens. Okay, so 125 mark is where it opens. And then just kind of open the bottom up just a little bit because it had some a little hook in here where it blocks it off just a little bit. So anyways, you can kind of see I did not do any golf balling on this one, but it is just kind of, as you can kind of see, the rough tool marks. So we're just going to go with what it is. I'm not going to put golf balls in this one, and kind of see where it is. So as it goes, the numbers should be right around 105 exhaust, 79 intake, and 125 on the transfers with a 19,000 squish, no base gasket. So I'm going to go with that. So anyways, I'll bring you back when we get it put back together and running. So all right, have a wonderful day. Later. Well, little update here. I thought the Dolmar 7900 was going to be back together running and I was going to take some videos for you. Obviously not. So obviously the cases are good. I'm not sure what happened, but catastrophic case failure. So everything was looking normal, as I thought, but actually this gasket spooged out on me, which is the weirdest thing. It wasn't just here. I'm gonna have to take this back apart, and because it's leaking back there, it's leaking in the oil tank itself, somewhere down in here, because it was pressurizing the tank. It was a catastrophic failure. So I can't remember what this was. Yeah, it might have been an aftermarket one, but yeah, this thing was terrible. So anyways, another trick that what I'm going to do, instead of trying to mess with my seals, especially on this side, I'm going to leave this side together with the crankshaft in there. So when I pull the cylinder off, I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to pull the flywheel side off. And the reason I'm doing that is because this shaft is tapered. So it's going to go through the seal, and I'm going to hope to save this seal, by the way, through here and through this process, because I think I can just take this apart, put a new gasket in by pulling this side off, the flywheel side off. And I've done this one other on a Husky, and it worked. So if you're out there and you're trying to think about, oh my God, I'm gonna have to pull the whole crank off. No, you just have to pull one side. And this is the better side because of the taper that you have on your shaft here. So this will slide in without anything. On this side, there is a lip that will catch, and you could have rolling that seal over. Now, one other thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned, but so this side, it's real easy to find the seal, the oil seal, the case seal for this side. It's small enough, it's numerous enough when you start looking. Now, when you get onto the clutch side, this one, wherever you look, if you're looking for Dolmar 7400, 7300, 7900, the Makita equivalents, any of those variants, okay? This seal is like, it's not obsolete, but nobody has it in stock. Well, looking at the numbers and cross-referencing and going back and forth, it took me a while. I ended up finding that everybody has in stock, it seems like, is, and this is what I used, a seal for a Husqvarna 395, 288, and the cutoff saw, the 950. So right there you can kind of see. So this is a Husqvarna 395 seal. That's the number, that's the seal that came out of here, matches up to the exact same numbers here. So if you are having a hard time finding this seal like I was, nobody had this size in stock, well, look for Husqvarna 395 XP seal on the clutch side. And by God, it went in there really nice and easily. So anyways, the turmoils of working saws and putting them together. I never had this bad of a case failure gasket. Yeah, just multiple places, just terrible. I'm not sure what happened on this gasket that made it do that. So anyways, in order to get this out, I promised it for a buddy that I would build him a 7900. Thought I was going to have it all together for him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 7900 top end. I'm going to go right over there to the 74, well, what was it? The 6400 that I put the 7300 cutoff top that I modified and all this other stuff, and it runs decent. But I'm going to take this off. I got better covers. I can replace that covers. At least it won't have mismatched orange and blue cases with orange tanks. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna put this cylinder on there, and try to get it out the door for him, because he's been very patient and waiting a long time. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, there's my numbers. 104 exhaust, 125 transfers, and I actually had 81 on the intake with 19 thous on the squish, and I think it's actually going to be a pretty thumpy saw as we sit. So appreciate you watching, and hopefully the next video will be showing this cylinder on that saw out the door running, and we'll be getting some testing in on that. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and later.